Greetings, Doom fans, and welcome to another edition of the Frostbite Falls Daily Rant, here on the Doomstead Diner. It's been a lively couple of weeks in the world of personal doom and collapse. So for today's rant, I am going to shift back off the global collapse issues to detail out more of the local collapse stuff the diner and me have been dealing with lately. The biggest bear was the Great Diner Crash, which began a few weeks ago with a few database problems that kept recurring, taking down the diner for a few hours to a day or so. Emails to support got these problems patched temporarily, but they didn't disappear. They appeared to be coming from plugins to WordPress, but we're still not sure of that, or which plugins might have been responsible. After the first week, the problems migrated and got worse. MySQL, which controls access to all the articles on WordPress and all the posting done on SMF, which underpins the Diner comment forum, went down on the server. Again, whether this problem was related to our own problems or a separate one the server had is unclear at the moment. However, it ended up leading to the Diner account being suspended for a day or so on the server until I could get the problem worked out with the support team and they got MySQL fixed and we did a restore from a backup, which fortunately one of the Diner admins was able to capture. In the end, in the worst 3 days of the crash, I was online basically 24/7 with support trying to get the problems resolved. Fortunately, in this regard, since I have become crippled by my neck injury, I don't have a day job to go to anymore. So I was able to devote myself to the task of getting the diner back up and running. The issues that caused this crash and how to resolve them still have not been worked out completely, and the support emails and phone chats continue. Most of the diner is operational again, and we're not messing with repairing missing plugins or anything else until we get nailed down first what caused all these problems, and second, how to keep such problems from recurring in the future. And third, how to get rapid support for interior software packages that can go bluey, but which is not inside the scope of support from the host provider. I am confident these issues will be worked out over time. However, I am less confident that the problems I have getting the medical care I need in order not to finish off my life as a homeless cripple will be resolved over time, or at least not before I am dead. As regular diners know, I have been in a battle with numerous government agencies, unemployment insurance, workmen's compensation, and Social Security in order to try and get some kind of income here while I work out how to get medical care and to afford that care. So far, about 4 months into this clusterfuck, I have not been able to get a dime from any of these systems that I paid into over the last 40 years of my working life. Not one thin dime here from any of them. I am fortunate that I have some savings, because if I did not, I would already be homeless and dying as a cripple on the streets of Palmer, Alaska. So I have been waiting out the legal issues and the bureaucracy issues involved in all these areas. Each month, my savings dwindle a little more. Each month, I wait for some response from each area of the supposed social safety net. The first failure was in the area of unemployment insurance. I couldn't get any of that because I am not fit and ready for work of any kind at the moment. Frankly, I'm not fit to get out of bed in the morning often enough these days. This unfortunate fact of life makes it impossible to receive UE bennies that I have been paying in for years now. Next up, workmen's compensation. Anytime you have any kind of major claim, either the employer or the insurance company they pay into with premiums to insure against such a claim is going to controvert it. That means basically that they deny the responsibility to pay the claim. On each and every submission you make to this, they have 20 days to respond to it, and they will use every last day of that, of course, to delay it. In the discovery process, so all the lawyers on all three sides have access to all the medical records, you have to get all those records sent to everybody, somehow. Except, with the exception of a single copy sent to yourself, either free or at nominal costs of 25 cents a page. Each and every pro from Dover you have visited with can charge you upwards of $100 to Xerox up a few pages of your medical records and send them to somebody else. Needless to say, I'm not gonna do that. So I spent the better part of 2 months just getting my own fucking copy of these records, scanning them, and making PDFs out of them, and sending them to my shyster lawyers so they had copies at least of them. I sent authorizations to the opposing law firm for them to get copies. They can pay for that. I am not going to provide them with free copies. No idea, as of yet, how Social Security gets hold of their copies of these records, necessary for making a determination on whether you really deserve SSDI bennies or not. I sent them all the authorizations for getting the records, but have not heard a jack shit from them for close to 4 months now. At the moment, I have no idea whether I will be approved or not, or even if they have been able to collect up all the records yet. So, to date, workman's comp on the case has been almost the epic fail that unemployment was. The only difference is that someday I still might get something from workman's comp. But it's going to take at least a year here, if not more, before that case gets settled. That leaves SSDI, and the minimum time through the bureaucratic paper shuffling that goes on before you can be approved for this is 4 to 6 months. On the first round of this, only around 40% get approved to begin with. What percentage of the population has enough savings to make it through 4 to 6 months with no support of any kind? Answer: less than 15%. Most people in my situation would already be homeless. And in fact, my lawyer validated that by saying that the system is broken, and many of their clients were out on the street already. I'm lucky. I have a buffer for this, and so I'm able to continue to write on it and chronicle the nightmare for a while longer. I'm not homeless yet. I have set myself the date of August 31st, 2015, my 58th birthday, before I will take this whole nightmare public, beyond the small readership of the collapsed blogs. At this point, I am pretty certain this thermonuclear option will become necessary. Why so? Well, at the moment, I do have insurance, and so I've been trying with my own insurance company and the doctors and hospital involved to get nailed down exactly what the cost will be for the operation, and who actually will pay these costs in the end. This assuming I do not win the workman's comp case and the bill ends up on my tab through my insurance company. This problem is itself its own little nightmare, because once a workman's comp case is controverted, which means the other side denies responsibility, and they always do, you have to set up a subrogation, which is where your insurance tracks all the costs. Then, if you win, those costs get shifted to the workman's comp insurance of the opposing side on this. Subrogation is only one issue you face here. The bigger problem is to find out within some reasonable margin of error exactly how much you personally will get billed after you sign up with the pros from Dover for a fix. The insurance policy says it will cover 100% of the cost of your deductible, and yearly out-of-pocket maximum has been reached. Except they're only talking about 100% of what they consider normal and usual charges, not what the provider actually drops on the bill. I already know that just the main pro from Dover's charges are a good 30% over what they consider normal and usual charges. Then we still have the assistant surgeon pro from Dover, the neuromonitoring pro from Dover, and the anesthesiologist pro from Dover to deal with, plus the hospital charges for the operating room, nurses, and technicians, and recovery time in a hospital bed eating the great hospital food. Can I get a list of all these charges? No. First off, I don't know who two of the pros from Dover will be, so I can't get in touch with their billing offices by any means. I can't get in touch with any of them, even the ones whose names I know, by email. They won't communicate by email. This sets them up for liability problems, so they simply will not give you an email ID for contacting them. You have the choice of either calling on the phone or sending a snail mail. If you call on the phone, You get a runaround. You start with a receptionist who transfers you to a low-level clerk in the billing department. She runs a script by you, telling what they will or will not tell you. Then you try to kick it upstairs to somebody in middle management. You never get anywhere with this. Snail mail? That takes forever in the back and forth. A few days for the mail to actually get there. A few days before it goes to the right person in the right department. A week or two before that person writes a reply, which goes to the legal department for vetting before it goes out. Then a few more days being hauled around by the United States Postal Service before it gets back to you, if they don't lose it. When you open it, you find it doesn't answer any of the questions you actually asked. Now you spend another day or two composing a new snail mail to try and nail them down and mail it out. Rinse and repeat the cycle. And if you can get a real answer to a question in under 3 months, you are doing really good. That's only half the battle, though, because it's even longer for your lawyer and their lawyers to exchange documents, schedule hearings with workman's comp everyone has time to attend, and every exchange has 20 days for a reply. So you can see quite easily why these cases stretch into the years before they get settled. Nevertheless, my lawyer tells me I have to go in for the surgery, even without the finances nailed down. He says it hurts my case not to go in and have my neck carved up by the pros from Dover. Says my case is good. Don't worry too much. I'll get paid back someday. Of course, he's not the guy that ends up homeless here. However, I promised when they took the case that I would follow their advice. So, whenever I can get this thing scheduled up, I'll go in for it. I do think at this point I will win the case eventually. However, the system is incredibly broken, and most people couldn't negotiate the bullshit alone, much less have enough savings to carry them through until the final victory is achieved. For this doomer, though, it's an amazing opportunity to see the system from the inside and to report on it, which I will keep on doing as long as my keyboard fingers still work and I can still get to a microphone. And that's all the Doom. This time until next time, here on the Doomstead Diner. See you later, Doomers.